Hey everyone, Johnny here with OhioCannabis.com at the 2019 Ohio Marijuana Expo. I'm at the Terrasana booth right now. They're a dispensary throughout Ohio, and I'm here with one of the owners, Dr. Kedia. How are you, sir?
Great, how are you?
Doing good, thank you. So you guys are the hottest commodity in the market right now, the dispensaries. A few of them just opened recently. How far out do you think you guys are from having your dispensaries open, and where are the locations are going to be at?
So the first dispensary I think that's going to open is going to be the one in Garfield at 480 in Transportation here in Cleveland. We're anticipating toward the end of February, third or fourth week. And then the second location that's going to open is the one in Columbus in Grandview, 7 to 10 days later. Third one will be Fremont, 7 to 10 days after that. The last, unfortunately, we're not going to open until April because it was a ground-up construction, and that's in Springfield. So that will open around April.
It sounds like you guys are rolling pretty good, though, and if you're 7 to 10 days out from each opening, you seem to got a system down pretty good at this point.
That's the idea. We'll see if it actually happens, but that's the thought process.
It's been a hard, long road for a lot of people with the licensing process. I know you guys put a lot of hard work in. Has there been any hiccups or anything that you've had to try to overcome since you've gotten a license that you weren't anticipating?
Well, the construction process is always the construction process. There's always issues with that. The level of security that we've had to implement, while not a problem, it's been more detailed oriented than you would typically expect. So there have been a few things, but nothing completely out of the ordinary. We've tried to make our dispensaries centered around patient care, and that's been our number one focus. Being a physician, I've been in the medical field for 20 years now, taking care of patients. Being a primary care doctor, every patient that walks into our dispensary with whatever ailment that they may have is all in my wheelhouse. This is what I see on a daily basis, and I've been doing it for 20 years. So our goal has always been to take care of people. What's the best way to do that? A welcoming environment, have our patient consultants highly educated, first and foremost about the medical disease, the medical condition, and then about the product that we're going to use to help patients feel better.
I think you brought up two of the most important parts. It's one, servicing the customer at whatever level is necessary, and then having an educated staff.
Absolutely. You can't, again, being in practice for 20 years, if my staff in my office can't talk to patients and can't answer their questions in an educated fashion, they're not going to come back, and I'm not going to be in business. And and most importantly, patients are not getting the care that they need and require. So taking those principles and bringing them into the dispensary is key.
And a lot of people out there have knowledge, but I think Ohio's really trying to set a standard for certifications and real education, really, at the end of the day. Not a lot of street knowledge, but understanding terpenes and the different cannabinoids and how the different, whether they're edibles or topicables, how they're going to interact with the body, because it's all different for every patient.
Absolutely correct. If you don't understand basic pathophysiology of the disease state, how are you going to apply the medication correctly to treat that disease state, right? So it's an education process on both sides of the coin. It's not just understanding the plant material and the terpene content, the CBD content, the THC content, and how that affects the person. But if you don't understand the disease state you're treating, how are you going to pick the right medication, right? So it's an education on both sides. And I think that's what makes us unique, having that medical perspective. I can bring that education from both sides, where other places, I can't answer to what other dispensaries are doing. I can only tell what we're doing. And what we're doing, I think, is a pretty unique concept.
Well, and I think with a lot of doctors, you understand the body, but not a lot of them understand the endocannabinoid system and how that works within the body too. Because that's fairly new in the medical field, and I think a doctor that understands that more so than others definitely has a leg up on a lot of them.
I completely agree. And I hope that as this becomes more mainstream, that more and more physicians come on board and try and understand and educate themselves about how the endocannabinoids and how the cannabinoids, terpenes, how they affect the body.
Yeah, great points. Now, how many employees have you guys hired roughly over I guess you have 3 that are going to be ready to go. The 4th one's a little on the back end right now, but how many employees roughly?
So roughly, ballpark, we're hiring anywhere between 8 to 10 employees per location. You're going to have a general manager, an assistant general manager, and anywhere between 6 to 8 patient consultants per location.
Oh, wow. Yes. That's a point I haven't heard yet, is having a whole staff for patient consulting, because that's going to be some of the most important, educating the patients too.
Well, that's actually the most important part of the dispensary. Because they're the people who are going to interact and directly have a face-to-face encounter with that patient. So if you don't have well-educated, well-trained patient consultants, it goes back to my earlier point. How are you going to treat them?
Good point. Good point. Now, do you guys have a website, or where can people email you to maybe get their resume or get some info to you?
Sure, it's terrasanacannabisco.com. And has all our information, all the dispensary locations. We'll have phone numbers. We just got our phones installed, so we'll be updating the phone numbers. You'll be able to leave a message, shoot emails, whatever needs to be done.
Okay, great. And I talked with one of the other owners, and we're going to get me out there real soon to the locations, and give you guys a tour and show you what the experience is going to be like as a new patient coming into one of the first Ohio medical marijuana dispensaries. So we appreciate your time, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
All right.